think we cling on to it hoping that it's going to get better. And I just woke up and it just dawned on me. I just realized it's probably never going to get better. I mean, it has flickers and moments where you're like, man, that was really cool. This is really cool. But from an entertainment standpoint, it's just really hard getting into wrestling, dude. I mean, I haven't watched wrestling since SummerSlam. I don't know what's been going on. I'm not really intrigued with none of the characters on there, except for like Lesnar, maybe Randy Orton here or there. Sad to say, John Cena, actually, when he held the title, it's actually had more ratings than it had now after the fact. Which I hate to say it, man. You might have to put the belt back on that motherfucker. I hate to say it, but they've tried. It's just not working out. Dean Ambrose, I was into him. It's just his character still. He's not in really any good storylines. His moves are okay, but it's just really just his character's starting to just water down. There's nothing really interesting that they're doing to keep it up. No fresh storylines, no creativity. I don't know who's paying the creative team on WWE, but they all need to be fired because they can't come up with good storylines, and they're not consistent with their storylines. They're not coming up with fresh new ideas, a fresh set of eyes, saying, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. What I think WWE needs to do with creative is they need to have one team for SmackDown and one team for Raw and say, okay, you're responsible for SmackDown storylines, you're responsible for Raw storylines. Because if you try to cram them with 2 shows in 1 week, I just see that it doesn't work. Now you're having the 2 pay-per-views a month. It's not working out. For some reason, I don't know why, but in the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era, for some reason they were just so good with consistency. Like they always kept up new, innovative storylines just to keep the crowd entertained. And now it's like they show flickers of it. 1 month they may do good, then for 6 months they'll flat out suck, then for 2 months they'll do good, for 4 months they'll suck. And it's so hard to just watch wrestling when you have to sit there and bear through that shit, man. It stresses me, and it's an insult to my intelligence when I have to sit there and watch the bad product they put on there. And then when you speak out against it, either the casual fans or wrestlers will tweet, oh, you're a nerd, or you're just a basement dweller, or you're living at mommy's house, that's the reason why you're saying wrestling's bad. You're not in the profession. You don't have a reason to say anything. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Mick Foley came out the other day and said, if you don't like what I put on there, you can kiss me arse. And, you know, I hate to say it, man. It's just, they put out a shitty product, then you have to like it. And if you don't like it, they get pissed and curse you out. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be PG. I don't even think PG's to blame. I just think it's their lack of consistency and good storylines. I mean, the Golden Era was PG, and they still had decent storylines that kept you entertained. Might have been a little cheesy, but they were entertaining to watch. Now you just see, you know, speaking of which, you see a lot of these guys in the locker room, with the exception of like the Bray Wyatts, maybe Kevin Owens, and a couple of guys here or there. Maybe I'm missing a couple, but, you know, I'm not going to go through the list of names. The rest of the locker room looks like they don't care about being there, and they look like they're not into their characters. They're not playing the role really well. They look like they look burned out. They look like they don't even want to be there. I mean, maybe that's a part of the creative team and how their characters are being used, but a lot of the times these guys don't care about their characters, and I hate to say it, but it's the truth. You can see a lot of these guys are just here for camera time, just to tell their friends, look, hey, if you turn on USA Network on Mondays, I'm there for 15 minutes. There I am right there. A lot of these guys, they want you to like them, but they don't want to put the work into it to make their characters entertaining. Take Finn Balor, for example. The Demon, like him as his face painted NXT was cool. Now it's starting to get a little boring. You see too much of it. What else is to your character other than your face paint? When your face paint is off and you're a normal person, you look like a little midget hobbit. I hate to say it, but you look like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. And I'm supposed to sit there and like a guy who can't even entertain the fans. I mean, most of these guys, they talk on the mic, oh my God, they're just horrible. No microphone skills, they got no charisma, they look like they got no excitement behind their characters, and I'm supposed to sit here and watch a bad product. Meanwhile, the casual fans will sit there and say, oh, well, you're not a real fan if you can't stick by them. Man, fuck that, you know? The problem with WWE is their consistency. They're not consistent with their creative, innovative ways. They're not consistent with their storylines. They're just not consistent at all. I mean, honestly, I don't even care about 5-star match anymore, because I know these wrestlers today in the ring, with the exception of Seth Rollins and a couple of guys here and there. Hell, even Finn Balor's one of them. A couple of these guys can put on a good 4.5-star match if they find somebody that works well with them. You know, But the rest of the thing is, I'm sorry, I'm going everywhere with this. Let me get to the point. The thing is from an entertainment value, they bring nothing to the table. So even if you put on a 4.5-star match, there's nothing behind it that makes me intrigued to want to watch it. No good storylines to follow behind it. That's why it's called the World Wrestling of Entertainment. You're supposed to entertain. When I don't see any creative storylines or lack of enthusiasm out of the guys in your locker room, that equals out to a big pile of mess, a big cesspool. It's so fucking hard to watch wrestling consistently because they're not consistent with their storylines. And that's why I haven't done a wrestling review in a long time. And honestly, nobody on my channel cares anymore. You see these guys in the YWC? Look at their channels. Some of them got talent, but they reiterate the same garbage every week. Oh, Raw got this rating, Raw got that rating, Raw's a bad show. SmackDown was bad, no consistent storyline, Shane sucks, Vince McMahon sucks. Like, all they do is complain, but they sit there and watch it. That makes you guys weak and hypocrites. Why are you watching a product that's so bad? Just watch something else. Is that all your channel has to offer? Is just fucking reiteration of every fucking week of bad shows? I finally had to get away from the YWC, stop watching their videos. I watch a little bit here and there from Wrestling Jesus. I watch a little of the conspiracy theories from Polston and Dark Horse, but other than that, I don't really watch any of those guys anymore, man, because they just reiterate the same stuff I've been hearing every week. I've actually lost subscribers making wrestling videos. That's sad to say. I've actually lost views and subscribers. I actually get most of my views and my subs from football. And I know a lot of the YWC guys like, oh, hut, you know, you're watching a bunch of men in tights running around, or a bunch of men grabbing each other's balls. Same thing with wrestling. All you do is watch a guy fucking dressed up in lingerie running around wrestling another guy dressed up in lingerie. It's the same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. These guys are scripted. They're paid to fucking, they're paid. Oh, well, of course, everybody's paid. But basically, these guys, their matches are all pre-scripted and the winners are predetermined every match. So it's not like you guys have really any leverage to talk about football fans. You know, at least football's competitive, you know, from a standpoint that either team can win. Wrestling, you already know who's going to win. Now, I'm a wrestling fan, and I've acknowledged that. I already understand that. But it's not just football that's kicking its ass. It probably is a big part of it, but I think it's just the fact that they're lacking the storylines. They need storylines. Like, each show should have about 4 or 5 different storylines going on. It's not really that hard. Y'all did it in the Attitude Era. The whole Attitude Era was nothing but storylines. Ruthless Aggression, same thing. The PG era and the new era, I don't see any of that. I don't see any innovative storylines that just captivates an audience to want to watch the product. It's all about entertainment. The average attention span is 8 seconds, I read. So if the attention span is 8 seconds, but you're giving us garbage wrestling and garbage storylines, how are we supposed to give you more than 8 seconds of our attention? That is my point. I feel bad for guys in YWC, I really do, because you could just clearly tell that a lot of these guys, they don't want to step outside of the box to take other measures to make other videos than wrestling. I see Wrestling Jesus kind of dipped into the, you know, the food reviews and stuff. He's kind of slowly getting out there, but the rest of you guys are stuck in a small box. And all you want to do is watch wrestling or talk to stuff that pertains wrestling. Your channel has nothing else to offer. And then I hear you guys complaining, oh, I don't get no subs or views. It's because that's all you fucking talk about. You have nothing else to your channel that has anything else to offer but a show that's putting on a bad product, and you keep reiterating the same shit over and over, man. It gets old after a while. It really does. Who wants to hear that all fucking day? Oh, wrestling sucks. Wrestling sucks. We know it sucks. But if you keep watching it, what's the point? It contradicts everything you say when you continue to watch the product. I don't like Enzo and Big Cass. I'm sorry. They're boring as fuck. Enzo's just a fake fucking Eminem wannabe. I can't stand those fucking cock. Big Cass, he's actually better off on his own. I hate to say it. He could be like a Kevin Nash / Edge. He has an Edge, Kevin Nash look to him. He probably could, you know, do well on his own. Kevin Owens is okay. He actually has decent storylines, but they don't put him in any. Finn Balor, Demon character was okay in NXT, but in WWE, his character's just not panning out. Like, I'm not intrigued to watch Finn Balor. I'm sorry. There's no storylines that captivate me that want to watch him. Maybe if they put him in a gimmick with Bray Wyatt, like the Demon versus like a religious sack cult, that would be cool, but I don't see storylines like that being creative. And that's my disconnect with the product, with the wrestling company, is I have a disconnection with the storylines, with either lack of storylines or no storylines, or I have a disconnection with the inconsistency of following through a storyline that lasts longer than 2 weeks. And that's my issues with wrestling. So a lot of people have been asking me, why haven't you watched it? And that's exactly why. So anyways, I just wanted to, say my piece. I'm going to go into Heart's Chicken and go get my dog some chicken. And then get ready for the Rockets-Knicks game, preseason game tonight. And I'm heading on out. Is WWE ever going to get better? Honestly, I don't think it is. The only way it can even slightly get better is you're going to have to call Rock, fucking Mick Foley, Brock Lesnar, guys who had natural charisma. You're gonna actually, and natural like things to their characters, if they actually come out and like tell creative, hey, we're gonna kind of have a little more mic control here, we'll keep it in the confines of family friendly, but give us a little more mic control or whatever, off the script or whatever, I think it could bring like a TNA aspect to it. But in terms of like the consistent storylines, if you're not gonna have something that's entertaining, nobody's gonna be intrigued to want to pay attention to it on a consistent basis. In other words, you'll watch it for a month and then take 2 or 3 months off. That's the kind of guy I've been in the last year or two now. It's getting to the point to where I only watch pay-per-views now because I just refuse to watch product. And now the pay-per-views, I've missed the last 3 of them. And I don't even feel bad that I missed them. I don't even really care anymore. So anyways, I've said everything I had to say about the WWE product, and will I ever make another review again? Who knows? Probably so later on down the line. Maybe the Royal Rumble, I may do a preview and a review for that, but other than that, I don't really care anymore, man. Wrestling has just drained me, literally frustrated me so much I have become numb to it now. I don't even care anymore. I haven't watched a product in a couple of 2 or 3 months, and I don't know. I hope it gets better, but I don't see it anytime soon until the creative team gets more creative with their storylines and more consistent with it. So anyways, I guess I'm going to go ahead and sign on out of here.